All right, thanks, guys. Happy Sunday to you. And welcome to our NBA free pick video here today for January 16th, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And for some reason, today's show is powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are currently hitting at 27% in our last 33 premium picks on that site. Not even worth mentioning. Let's get into the free picks. Suns take on the Pistons, 1 o'clock Eastern start time. The Phoenix Suns are minus 11.5 with the total at 215. And although the Suns have won a handful of games here recently, they did fail to cover in 5 out of their last 9, throwing out that Pacer game. As a matter of fact, the Suns failed to cover recently against the likes of Toronto, Miami, and Boston. Now, the Suns, for some reason, they've also had problems with Detroit in recent meetings. They're averaging only 104 points a game in their last 10 contests against the Pistons. And they also went just 1-9 against the spread during that span. And as good as the Suns have been here this season, they've actually had some difficulties with regard to rebounding. They're currently in the bottom half of the NBA in road offensive boards. Meanwhile, on the defensive side, on the other end of the court, they're also in the bottom 10 in defensive boards away from home as well. They're taking on a Detroit club who's got themselves a winning record against the point spread at home this season. And they actually got the outright win in 5 out of their last 8 ball games. Now, Cade Cunningham, he is scoring 15.5 points a game along with 5 boards and 5 assists. Pretty good output out of Cade, early in the season here. Meanwhile, teammates Sadiq Bey, he's scoring over 15 points a night himself, along with 6 rebounds and 2.5 assists. The Pistons got the outright W in 8 out of their last 10 meetings with Phoenix. Now, the Pistons are also in the top 5 in fewest second quarter points allowed at home. Now, when it comes to the injury report in this one, Magruder and Jackson are out. Meanwhile, for the Suns on the other side of things, Nader's out, Johnson is questionable. And when it comes to the total in this one, Phoenix saw 5 out of their last 8 fall under the line. The Suns are also 63% to the under on the road. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Pistons are 6-3 to the under in their last 9 themselves. I'm sure this will be a popular pick. Give me Detroit plus 11.5 under 215. Next ball game I have for you. It is going to be the Rockets taking on the Kings, and that's going to be a 6 o'clock Eastern start time. Sacramento is minus 5.5 with the total at 240. Now, Sacramento did lose 5 out of their last 7 ball games, and they've actually struggled with Houston in recent meetings. Having said that, though, here comes a valid point from me. Sacramento did successfully cover the point spread in their last 3 straight ball games this season. And one of those covers, that was a double-digit outright win over these very Rockets. Man, I must really know something. De'Aaron Fox is scoring 21 points a game for the Kings. 3 rebounds, 5 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Harrison Barnes, he's drilling nearly 43% of his three-pointers, along with over 16 points a game. Now, the Kings have also done a real nice job offensively early in games. They're in the top 10 in first quarter scoring at home. They're also in the top 10 in second quarter scoring at any location. They're taking on a Houston team who's allowing 117 points a game, and they're winning only 20% of their contests when traveling. Kind of sounds like me with my personal bets. As a matter of fact, the Rockets allow more points per contest than any other team in the NBA. They're letting their opponents make 48% of their field goals against them when they travel. When it comes to the total in this one, in my opinion, this number is insanely high. Of course, it's going to go over the total, but I just can't do it. Houston saw contests recently with Philadelphia and Washington fall under the posted total. Meanwhile, Sacramento saw 5 out of their last 9 fall under the line themselves, throwing out that one Denver game. The Kings are also 15-11 to the under at the Golden One Center. Now, real quick, first, this game has no business going over the total. It will go over. Of course it will. I can't bet it, but it's going to go over the total. It has to. But I can't in good conscience go over 240 with these two teams. But anyway, just got to remind you real quick when it comes to the injury report, because I skipped it. Holmes and Jones are questionable for Sacramento. Thompson and Woodard are out. But regardless, give me Sacramento minus 5.5 in the under 240. Next matchup, Warriors Timberwolves, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Minnesota's minus 4.5, totals 217. And speaking of the total in this one, this game's being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on BrockPage.com, where we are currently 3-7 in our last 10 premium picks in that category. And that's good for 30%, a really strong 30% in that category. But hey, if you think I can turn it around, well, the link for that pick is in the description section below. It's only $1.99. So, think about it. But anyway, as far as choosing a side in this one, it's the Timberwolves who won 4 out of their last 6 ball games. Victories over the likes of Houston, OKC, and the Clippers during that stretch. Minnesota also they've got themselves a winning record at the Target Center this season. They've done a real nice job defensively at home. Now, Minnesota's allowing only 104 points a game in front of their home fans. And they're currently in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage at home. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, Karl Anthony Towns is averaging over 24.5 points a game, along with 9 boards and 3 assists. Now, Towns is also drilling 42% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Anthony Edwards is drilling over 22.5 points a game himself, along with 5 boards and 3 assists. Now, when it comes to offensive play in this one, the T-Wolves certainly like to get off, to fast starts. They're currently in the top 3 in first quarter scoring. Now, they're taking on a Golden State team who lost 4 out of their last 6 themselves. And they're going to work here today without Stephen Curry, who's battling a hand injury. Now, when it comes to covering the point spread, the Warriors have actually failed to cover in 6 out of their last 9 ball games, kind of struggling, covering that number here recently. They've actually got themselves a losing record against the point spread on the road this year as well. And although the Warriors really don't do a whole lot wrong, they are in the bottom 10 in second quarter scoring on the road. So if you're into maybe some prop betting or something like that, maybe think about that particular trend. But anyway, injury-wise, once again, Curry is out. Payton is questionable. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, McLaughlin and Bolmaro are out for them. Noel is questionable as well. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Timberwolves minus 4.5, getting the job done against the number. All right, next and final matchup of the show, it is going to be Jazz versus the Nuggets, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Utah's minus 5, totals 224. Utah's on a 4-game losing streak, and they failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10. The Jazz also have themselves a losing record against the point spread for the entire season. They've also had a tough time playing, defense late in games. The Jazz currently rank in the bottom 10 in both third quarter and fourth quarter points allowed on the road. Looks like trouble. They're taking on a Denver club who won 7 out of their last 10 themselves and actually play some of the toughest defense in the Western Conference. Denver currently finds themselves in the top 10 in the entire league in defensive rebounding at home. And they're actually limiting their competition to just 103 points a game in the Ball Arena. We're looking at a team who's been very good defensively this year. Now, when it comes to the scoring, Nikola Jokic is averaging over 25 points a game, along with 13 boards and 7 assists. Meanwhile, Monte Morris is drilling nearly 40% of his three-pointers, and he's averaging 12.5 points a night. And speaking of the shooting in this one, the Nuggets are currently in the top 10 in shooting from the field this year. When it comes to the injury report, River and Barton are questionable for the Nugs. Meanwhile, for Utah, Gobert, House, and Azubuike, they are questionable for them. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Utah's gone 60% to the under when traveling this year. Meanwhile, the Nuggets went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings themselves. Those were unders against the likes of OKC, Dallas, and this very Utah team. I'm going to lean toward Denver plus 5. And the under 224, that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are currently hitting at just 27% in our last 33 premium sports picks on that page. I'll tell you what, man, that is quite impressive. But anyway, give me Detroit plus 11.5 under 215. Give me Sacramento minus 5.5 under 240. I also like Minnesota minus 4.5, getting the job done against the point spread. And with my next and final free pick for the video, give me Denver plus 5 under 224. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Blah, 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 brockpage.com. Happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. I'll see you tomorrow.